Last week we talked about Fleetwood Mac. April Rhodes appeared and they started gossip about everyone. And there was the song, I May Probably Have Slept With You. And we hated it. And that's what you missed on Gleeboot.
Gleeboot!
Yay! Is that actually what the song is called?
I think that's what it was. It was the April Rhodes original, right?
Yeah. I didn't realize it had such a long, clunky title.
Like the song itself.
Yes.
So this is a bit of a back to basics episode. It's just going to be the three of us. Welcome to Gleeboot, the show where your three best friends get drunk and talk about Glee. I'm Cullen.
Alyssa.
And I'm Hannah.
And we're your best friends.
I was wondering about that.
What's the next step? I forget how to do back to basics.
Hannah, what's your Glee journey?
Oh, no!
So, back in the day, in 2009.
I'm stopping you. What are we drinking?
Alyssa's like, I'm the host of the show now.
You are all fired.
I'm drinking a fun cocktail that my boyfriend's friend apparently made up. It's called a shark bait. That's what he calls it. And it's... that's what I kept doing too. Ooh ha ha. Support your indie streaming service, Disney Plus. But it's sour berry Smirnoff. It's like bright blue vodka. So it's like a shot and a half of that, depending how big your glass is. Some Fresca, and then a little like dash of cranberry juice. And what happens is the blue and the Fresca sit at the top and the cranberry juice goes at the bottom. And it looks like blood in the water after a shark bite. And that's, I guess, where the name came from, shark bait. It's
That's
very
fun.
Fruity and delicious and very easy to drink. So yeah, there will definitely be a recipe up.
Blood in the Water is a song in Legally Blonde, the musical.
Oh, interesting.
Which we saw at
Yeah,
the
we
U
did.
together. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't remember it. Like, I remember being in that auditorium, and you were there, and we were there with some of your friends, and it was happening, and I was like, this isn't like the movie at all. And that's all I remember. I think I saw the playbill, though.
Yeah, it's a quality musical.
That Hannah cannot remember.
And I can't remember. But...
I think it was also because I like couldn't see anything because my eyes were really bad. I had yet to get new glasses, much like I'm suffering now. So I think my not being able to really see was impacting my whole experience. Yeah.
I wonder.
Yeah, I wonder. I'm drinking a cherry Coke and vodka. I'm calling this The Devil in a Red Dress.
Oh.
He's drinking the cherry Coke and vodka out of a Carl's Jr. cup.
Because I had that for dinner because I always knew what happened if I got Postmates, was I'd get addicted to it.
Yep.
And so once we get a fridge, I'm probably going to delete Postmates.
Well,
it's kind of, I'm trying to like cook random meals with all of the leftover stuff in our fridge. And
all I have is carrots and peppers.
You have a lot of carrots,
I have 2 giant bags of carrots.
That's just what you should be eating the whole
so
time.
on brand for you. Well,
by the way, for everyone who did not know, which is everyone, Cullen and I's fridge is out. It's broke. It went kaput on Thursday. And today is Tuesday.
Little peek behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Yes, we're supposed to get a new fridge Saturday.
Which is many days from now.
It's been a ride. Yeah.
Fun fact about Postmates, Uber and Uber Eats bought them, so Postmates will probably be defunct and turned into Uber Eats Plus or something. So
awesome.
I'm kind of bummed because Postmates around here is way better than Uber Eats. Uber Eats is like map is always all screwed up and they always try to deliver it to the wrong building. And then the Uber Eats people are like, well, it told me to go here. I'm like, yeah, but I gave you my address. So
use your brain.
So I blame the app, not the people.
I blame the people.
Okay. That's two sides.
Two sides, same coin. Alyssa, what are you drinking?
I am drinking what is apparently called a gimlet.
Oh.
Which is vodka, lime juice, and simple syrup. But of course, my simple syrup is maple syrup, so it is insanely sweet. Because vodka has no bite. So it's just like a big sweet drink. It's almost too sweet for me, which is insane.
Interesting. So fun fact, I was going to have a Jesse St. Jameson tonight because Jesse St. James.
Mhm.
And so like I made it and I started drinking it. I was like, I think this Coke is super flat, and it was so disgusting. Also, I totally sat in my closet for 10 minutes around 6 o'clock my time, being like, okay, when am I going to get this email? And then I was like, oh yeah, we're recording 6 their time, 9 my time. So that's how my day's been.
I keep forgetting it's Tuesday.
Yeah, I also forget too because we were just talking about, I almost said Wednesday. I was like, nope.
Oh, this is the worst.
It's okay. Tomorrow's Wednesday and it's almost here.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about the show.
So, Prom Queen, the junior prom episode. I watched it twice because guess what? I loved it.
Shocker.
Yeah. You watched it the first time you watched it with me, right?
Yeah.
My reaction was not the same as Cullen.
So, okay. So you watched it with Alyssa for the show, right? I'm
Yeah.
assuming you took notes. And then you just watched it again for fun, no note-taking?
I watched it again just so it was fresh in my mind because
okay.
usually we record the day
same
after,
yeah.
but like something happened. And so I just like watched it today just like to be fresh on the storylines.
Okay. I see it. But you also just happened to also enjoy it.
Yeah, I also just really liked it, so I didn't mind rewatching it. If it had been Rocky Horror Glee Show, I think I watched Rocky Horror Glee Show twice.
Why?
Oh, why?
Because I wasn't sure we were gonna watch it together, or I watched it myself and then you were watching it, and then I just happened. It's like, okay, it's happening. I'm just gonna watch it again.
Okay, it's happening. I can't control it. I can't get up and go to another room or anything. That's what happens with that episode, though. It traps you.
Yeah, we feel trapped like Emma, who was not in this episode.
Okay, I have so many questions about chaperones. I'm not okay. I'm much more passionate about the episode than I thought, and we literally haven't even started talking about it.
So before we get into the episode, does anyone have any memories of their junior prom, or did they go?
Okay, first of all, this is the first thing that I mentioned. My school didn't have a junior prom or a senior prom. We had prom in which both the juniors and seniors were invited.
Same.
So,
But if you went when you're a junior, it's your junior prom.
yeah, but it's not called junior prom. It's not for juniors. It's just prom, and you're allowed to go because you're a junior now.
Yeah.
Some schools are so big though that they have a junior and a senior prom. So.
Exactly.
But my school wasn't, so I didn't know that existed.
That was also the first thing I mentioned, and then they of course reiterated like, no, it's junior prom, and I was like, oh, okay, I get it. But then I had more questions. Yeah. So okay.
I mean, I do remember.
Yeah, Alyssa, what was your prom experience?
I got asked out by a senior. No, wait. Okay, hold on. That's a different thing. That was midwinter.
Oh, so you guys had like another dance?
Yes. Okay, I think for junior prom, that was like a whole different thing. For prom, I went with my friends and had a really good time, and I think I danced with the guy who like he's the guy who asked me out to midwinter, but he was a senior and he was like 2 years older than me or something. He just turned 18 and I was not 18 yet, and his parents made him break up with me.
Aww.
because of the age difference. So it was like really awkward. That's what I remember.
Oh. So same as Alyssa, my school only had prom and juniors and seniors could go. But freshmen and sophomores could go if they were invited by juniors or seniors.
Right,
So I only went my junior year, and I only went to 2 dances, one homecoming and one prom, both my junior year. Homecoming, I actually took Kyle, who was on the podcast a couple weeks ago. So he was my date. Well, actually, I guess we took each other because it's a partnership. And then for prom, I took my friend Erica, who was a freshman at the time, and we kind of went with like a big group of our friends. And our friend Bree's parents got us a limo, and
Ooh, fancy.
we'd had prom. I distinctly remember being in a grind train. We shot some photos in the photo booth, and then we ditched a little bit early. Went to late night IHOP, which is like fine, you know,
It's
but
a classic.
don't
Yeah.
get egg dishes at late night IHOP. That's the rule. It should only be pancakes and fruity stuff, you know, French toast. Egg dishes are terrible. I had an omelet because I'm not really a big pancake and breakfast sweets kind of person. And I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever had. So I don't even think I finished my omelet, but yeah, that's what I remember.
I went to prom because homeschool prom you could go any age. So sometimes by the time you were a senior, it was like some of the seniors were like, "It's not cool because freshmen could be there."
Right.
Wait, when you say any age, you're still
any
talking.
age in high school.
Okay, I was like, so you went when you were 12.
No.
Yeah, the middle schoolers are there.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not cool anymore.
So I went when I was a sophomore because my brother's girlfriend needed a date because he was in college and she wanted to go with her friends. And my mom was like, Cullen's not allowed to go. And then they're like, Becca needs a date. My mom's like, why doesn't Cullen take her? And I was like, I thought I wasn't allowed. And then I went with my...
Wait, I thought that you said that she wanted to go with her friends.
Yeah, but she wanted a date with her friends. Like, Victoria had a date. Noah, my ginger soulmate, was her date. And Becca wanted a date.
When you say she wanted to go with her friends, I automatically think this was when all of the girls who were single in high school think, oh yeah, she wanted to go with her friends, which means no guys. It's a group of friends as girls that go as a group of friends as girls.
Yeah, but this was a mixed group of friends.
So what you're saying is it was like a huge, I want to say like a double date thing, but with multiple couples.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then...
clarification.
And then junior year, I took my best friend Victoria, and then Becca also went with us as like another date just like for fun. So that was my junior prom, and I distinctly remember I took a picture where I was like holding her like princess style, and I got her deodorant on my blazer.
Oh no.
But it came off. But I just remember for a while there's this white stain. I'm like, what is this?
Oh my god.
Yeah, and me and Victoria had all these dorky dances we would do. Like, we'd do the tree dance where we'd pretend to, like, grow like a tree. And we had...
How many people were at this prom?
It was pretty crowded. It was like going to, like, a small high school's prom.
Which is how many people?
How many people?
Because like a small high school, what are you talking about? Because there are really small high schools.
It was bigger than just my homeschool group. There were people there that I didn't know.
Yes, but how many people, Cullen?
I don't count people. I don't know numbers.
Was it like 100 people?
More like 200.
Okay, so it was bigger than my prom.
Interesting. Okay.
Because my prom was the 2 classes, and we were about 70 something each. So we maybe had 160 people.
I think mine was probably less than that, I want to say. Or maybe not. I would say probably between 150 and 200 people.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So junior prom was fun. We also had to dance to Taylor Swift's and Joe Jonas's 2 is better than 1 song, where we would go like, we'd have our fingers together as like 2, and then we'd switch them to 1.
I don't
What are you
know that
talking
song.
It's okay. It's fine. Taylor Swift and Joe Jonas dated, and they had a song together.
I knew they dated. I did not know they had a song together. Whose album was it on?
I think it might have been a single.
Oh.
That explains things.
Either that or it's on... I don't think it was on Fearless, so... It was either on a Jonas album or a single. Because I don't know the Jonas discography as much as I know Taylor Swift.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, the Taylor Swift discography is a lot more in depth. I don't have as many things to remember, and I don't even remember that many.
And I'll save all the senior prom drama, because there was a lot more drama for senior prom. I'll save that for season 3 of Glee.
For their senior prom.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I mean, there was some drama that happened. Was it after? Yeah, no, it was after my prom. There was some drama that happened that, or maybe it was senior prom. I don't even remember. But there was some drama that happened after the prom that, yeah, it was intense.
Wow.
I always call prom drama Proma.
Oh, good one.
And it's like the moment the first couple, like the first promposal happened, that was the start of the Proma.
Oh my god, I forgot someone asked me to prom, and I definitely said no.
Wow.
This is on brand.
I mean, the way he asked me to prom was that he was, like, proofreading my English paper, and he circled a bunch of, like, letters.
Oh, no, that's serial killer shit.
Yes! And I was like, what is wrong with my
Well,
P
then not even that.
and my R and my O and my M? They're not, it's like, it took me 5 minutes to figure out that they weren't mistakes in my paper.
I can literally see this scene happening. Honestly.
This needs to be in the Gleeboot.
I was just going to say, that's going in the Gleeboot.
Yeah.
I can literally picture Alyssa being like, no, this R should be here.
There's nothing wrong with it. I don't understand. Why did you circle these?
That's too good.
Yeah. Yeah. It was all an unfortunate situation because he had asked several girls before he asked me, and I was just like, oh, no thanks.
Oh, wow.
Maybe I'll see you there.
I wonder if he did that for every single girl. He just circled PROM all over their papers. It's like, dude, if you think it's not going to work the first time.
I think he asked them different ways.
Oh, I guess that's good.
I mean, that's dedication, kind of.
He was like, God, my grammar checking has got to work as a technique. It didn't. I need to know where this person is now.
I don't remember his name.
Okay, well, I guess we're never going to find out.
Even if I did remember his name, I would not say his name, even if I did remember it.
If you're out there
that's
and
mean.
you remember doing that to a girl named Alyssa in your high school, please reach out to us. We are at Gleeboot Pod on Instagram and
Twitter.
He'll be a guest.
Are you okay?
Just like not even an episode of Glee that we're discussing, just like we want to know about your life.
We're gonna have a mini episode.
It'll be 3 hours long because that's the length of our mini episode.
It's like a Diane Sawyer interview.
Oh,
I hate you, Diane Sawyer. Glee reference. So prom queen. This episode does not have a lot of Will Schuester in it, and like. Great.
yes.
Praise be. It opens with. It opens not with this scene. It opens with another scene, but we'll talk about the opening scene in a little bit. One of the first scenes is.
Wait, what storyline are we going with first?
I'm just talking about Will and Sue in Figgins' office.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So Will brings in Sue, not Will. Figgins brings in Will and Sue, and is like, my favorite band, Air Supply, canceled for prom, so I would like my other favorite group, the New Directions, to perform at prom for a budget of $400, which can go to their New York trip. Said it's a half full of dreams for all of us.
Shu literally is like, well, we have to prepare for nationals, and then he's
I'm
like,
like, when have you ever done that?
Yeah, I was like, wow, you guys have that on the docket? And Figgins is like, no, you don't. You're going to perform. I was like, great. They're going to lose nationals because they never get to rehearse.
Yep. Also, what group of students ever would want to perform at their own prom?
That's a great question.
No one.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, okay, so here's another thing I'm remembering about my prom is kids that had graduated, like, I think the year before were the DJs at our prom.
Also, that's another thing. I've never been to, like, a dance in this century that
was
live
a live
music.
band. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of confusing things happening here.
Yeah, when I think of a dance with a live band, I think of Back to the Future.
Yes, exactly. Actually, I think wasn't he auditioning at some point? Wasn't he supposed to play for prom? Well, I mean, he did when he went back to the past.
Yeah, and he played Johnny B. Good.
Yeah, because they lost their guitarist.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a different movie. We're not going to get into that one.
Also on that 3-hour minisode, we're going to talk about that guy's opinions of Back to the Future.
So then Figgins is like, you're going to perform, and Sue is like, no, I won't allow it. And then she just kind of non sequiturs into talking about every year she brings her special family punch in the punch bowl her grandmother drowned in. And every year it's spiked, and she's like, the desire for people for that miscreant behavior is just going to be fueled by being screeched at by that Glee Club.
I also don't get the idea of a punch bowl. Like, that seems very unsanitary. And, like, why the punch bowl if you know it's going to get spiked? Like, put it into one of those makers that it consistently shifts around the juice or whatever so that it's fresh and it's safe from being spiked or safer.
Yeah.
So many stupid little things. Like little straws you could just pull out and the whole thing just crumbles
into a crumbly cake.
Yeah.
Ew.
Are we going to talk about Sue's list of songs?
Yes, Sue's like, I have kept in my Spanx at all times a list of the worst songs the Glee Club has ever performed. Run, Joey, Run. We should literally apologize to America.
And then,
I love Run, Joey, Run.
I do too. Okay, so like the funny thing is, Run, Joey, Run wasn't even performed technically. It was just Rachel and a couple people from the Glee Club in her video. So like it wasn't technically them. I guess it was all Rachel's fault. But also it just like made me think, like, I was like, is Sue the writers calling out the low earning singles from iTunes? Like,
probably
Run, Joey, Run, and then Crazy in Love, Hair.
She's like, you must have been pretty tired when you came up with that one.
And I was like, that's not even a good, like, slam. That's just literally like you're saying someone was really tired when they came up with that mashup. Like,
They're
super
like,
uninspired.
Do you think that's the writers being like, I know what you were doing this week, and it was not writing this mashup?
I don't know. Honestly, these writers, they're confusing. Like, sometimes they're tongue-in-cheek, and other times it seems like they're totally oblivious. But also, it could be, rather than being oblivious, so in the know, and they're just making fun of themselves. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. The entirety of Glee is just one big inside joke.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is, and I'm just sitting here like, what is happening?
And we're not in on it.
Yeah, we're not in on the joke because, like, I don't know. We keep saying, like, we have a Gleeboot for a reason because we think it could be better, and I just don't know how I feel about this inside joke because I don't think a lot of it's funny.
Yeah, and so then Will goes and he announces he writes prom on the board, and Sam is like, don't tell me we're singing songs about prom.
Which I was like, how many are there? What is going on?
And the musical The Prom hadn't come out yet, so.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Will is like, no, we'll be performing at the prom. I'm going to make a rotation. You guys have lots of time to dance with your dates. I hated the way he said it.
Yeah.
And Mercedes left the room, and I was like, Mercedes
Same.
is me.
Yeah. I think in that same scene, Brittany was like, I'm gonna dance with all of your dates or something like that. And I was
She was like, I'm not going with a date either. All your dates are going to come dance with me because I'm just going to dance, and your dates are going to be my dates.
yeah, I was like, what is this weird confidence? Like, it's coming out of nowhere. I'm like, I'm into it, but I'm also like, what?
Yeah, so that's kind of like Will's there for like the setup of what happens in the episode, but he's not really there for the rest of the episode.
Good riddance.
I was gonna say, I don't even think I have any other notes about him. Like, literally, I forgot he was even in the episode until we started talking about it.
Yeah, so Matthew Morrison had the rest of the day off. So let's talk about Kurt, and then I have Rachel, Mercedes, Quinn, Artie, and Puck, and then Santana.
Okay, so we're popping like Finn, Jesse stuff into that Mercedes, Rachel, Sam stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's all pretty tied together.
This episode was all pretty tied together. At first I was going to do it chronologically, then I'm like, that's too hard.
Yeah.
So Kurt wants to go to prom. He asks Blaine to prom. And Blaine is nervous because he was at a Sadie Hawkins dance once with a guy, and he got beat up afterwards.
I was very confused about this interaction because I thought he got beat up after he asked the guy to the dance, not after the dance.
You know, he said they were waiting for the driver, the dad, to come pick him up.
See, there was all, like, that's exactly what I remember. But the sentence before that was, so I asked him to go with me to the Sadie Hawkins dance or something. Like, he asked him. And then the next sentence was, and then we were waiting for my dad to come pick us up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was nowhere in that narrative did he say, and we went to the dance, and then while we were at the dance, or after the dance, we were waiting. It was literally just, I asked this guy, and then while I was waiting for my dad to come pick me up, because I just asked him out after school, we got beat up. So, like, I was kind of floating around in nowhere's land. I was like, okay, I don't understand why you don't want to go to prom because this happened not at a dance.
Yeah, speaking of out of nowheresville, I kind of felt like this was sort of like Sam's thing last week. Was that last week? They're all blurring together.
Yeah.
Where Sam, like, his sort of intense backstory that's going on with him came out. Like, this kind of felt like it came out of nowhere too with Blaine. Like, it kind of felt convenient to the story because, like, we talked about how Blaine kind of opened up about his past with Kurt when they first met, but, like, Blaine never mentioned violence.
Mm-hmm.
And if he experienced violence, then he should never have told Kurt to stand up to his bullies, especially because he knew, like, that's a possibility that could happen, and he knew nothing about Kurt at that time. So, like, it just kind of felt really kind of contradictory and convenient, which sucks because it's such a very real experience. So yeah, I was just really conflicted about it, like, from like a story writing perspective.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense, though. Your point, not Glee.
Not Glee.
Yes. Because I hadn't thought about the fact that, like, you know, season 1 happened and Blaine was part of that.
Blaine was not in season.
Never mind.
It was like part 1 of season 2. Yeah.
The beginning of season 2 happened, and Blaine was part of that, not season 1.
Mm.
And his backstory doesn't.
His backstory was,
match up.
I should have stood up to my bullies, and you should too now. And now he's like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do this because I got beat up. And I'm like, I'm confused. Yeah.
I don't know. Inconsistencies.
Yep.
But regardless, Blaine does agree to go to prom with Kurt.
Yeah.
Which I didn't. I felt weird about that conversation between him and Kurt because Kurt said, I don't want to make you go. If you don't want to go, we don't have to go. And then Blaine said something like, I'm so glad that what did he say? It's like, I fell for you so hard or something.
No.
What was it?
He was like, I'm out and I'm proud.
But basically, it's sort
something about
being
happy
not
that
drawing attention, right?
Yeah.
No. Blaine said, so Kurt was like, you don't have to do this, we don't have to go. And then Blaine was like, I'm so happy that I know you, or something. It was like giving a compliment to Kurt. And then Kurt goes, so that's a yes? And I was like, okay.
Yeah, no, I do kind of remember something like this. Yeah, I do kind of remember that. It's weird. I don't remember what it was, but
yeah, it was very strange. It was like Blaine was like, I'm so glad that I fell for you, or like it was a compliment to Kurt,
yeah,
because Kurt was considering his feelings about not wanting to go, and then immediately after that, Kurt was like, so we're going, right? And it was just when I was like very confused.
Yeah, that wasn't quite, circling random letters in his English paper, was it, Alyssa?
Yeah. Not quite as romantic.
Not quite as clear.
So, at school, the bully whips are protecting Kurt. So, we see Karofsky in his little red beret walking down the stairs like there's no anti-gay parades or burning rainbow flags this way. And Santana's over the walkie-talkie, like, are you finished talking? Yes. Then if you're done talking, you should say over. And he's like, no burning Liberace mannequins, over. And she's like, Team Gay, you may now proceed to your next checkpoint as she walks Kurt down the hallway.
Funniest line. I was dying. But okay, so before this, she has a conversation with Kurt and is like, hey, we want to protect you if you're going to prom, because they have the fashion show, remember?
The fashion show is later.
But isn't that how Santana decides? Because that's what's next in my my notes, is that I have Lauren's yellow dress thing.
I thought there was this scene and then there was the fashion show.
But Santana talks to him in secret at that fashion show and is like, yeah, because I think I had the teen gay thing later. Yeah.
Okay. So there's a fashion show, the Lemon Meringue fashion show.
That was awful. My biggest thing from this was, I was like, is this because Kurt is fashionable, or is it because Kurt is gay? And I didn't come up with an answer for that as to why they were like, getting something past Kurt is like the most important thing.
Oh, yeah, so the fashion show consisted of 3 girls parading dresses in front of Kurt.
Right.
For Kurt's opinion.
GBF, gay best friend.
Yeah, I was like, I don't understand what this is supposed to be. Then my next thing was Kurt called Santana Satan, and I was like, oh my god.
That was actually really funny.
I was like, this is killing me. Yeah.
He's like, go with God, Satan, Santana.
Yes. Yeah, because she looks fire in that red dress with like the rose sort of one shoulder thing. It looks great. Red is definitely her color.
Oh, but I remember I I remember something Kurt said. He said, nobody looks good in a prom dress unless you're size 2.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah,
then
and
Santana
I was-
comes out, and she's like size 2.
I was so angry. I did not like that line at all.
I didn't either, because he says it
Mhm.
straight to Lauren in the lemon meringue. She's in
Yeah.
a yellow dress, and she's like, I look like a lemon meringue pie. And
Which she did.
and
The
Brittany-
dress was horrid.
and
Frankly-
Brittany's like, you look delicious.
Frankly, the problems with that dress was, one, the color. That yellow was just, it was a bit much. And then the fur thing, if she'd taken the fur thing off, if she wanted something just like a light, what's it called? Like a shawl, that dress would have
Yeah.
been fine, just a different color. Like, yellow is just
Yeah.
a bit much for the prom dress.
Well, I mean, with her skin tone.
Yeah.
Because some
I
people
wore-
can pull yellow off, but
I wore a
not Lauren.
bright orange prom dress. It was like oh, what's that? It was like kind of like Greek style. It was very flowy and stuff. I look back on it now, I did not look very good. But I did love that dress when I bought it. But yeah, I was just like, why is he making this note that like, listen, honey, nobody looks good in a prom dress? And I'm like, that's not true. Like, I think people can look good in prom dresses regardless of their size.
Yeah, she looked great in the dress that she wore to the actual prom.
Yeah. I didn't like the line. Especially because in high school, I was nowhere even close to a size 2.
Same.
And I hated shopping for clothes.
Me too.
Because when you're in high school, you don't want to shop anywhere except for the junior section.
Yep.
But nothing there fits.
Nope.
So it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the junior section.
Yeah. And like, it's
I'm glaring at Cullen right now.
why? What's
Glaring.
happening?
I don't know either. Because she says she's glaring, but she's definitely smiling.
I can glare and smile at the same time. What are you saying?
Yeah, no, it's just, it's so offensive. It just is offensive.
This
Yes,
whole
yes,
scene
it
is
is.
just
It is.
confusing. There's a lot of confusingness, and I think the best part about it is Brittany saying, "You look delicious."
I love Brittany this episode. She was so confident.
Mhm.
Like,
Yes. Also, her dress. We have to talk about her dress because it was
Oh
great.
God, I don't remember it. You're gonna have to take care of that all by yourself.
I will.
But yeah, then this is when, because Kurt is like, oh my God, I'm going to prom with Blaine, and everyone's super excited, and then Santana's like, I'm gonna have like a quick, little meeting. It's like a, what do you say? Like she said, like something like a solo fashion question or
question
something like
for
that.
Kurt, and then she's like,
Yeah,
you need a full security detail for prom.
yeah. So I'm gonna show up with my beret and walk you down the hall shouting, "Gay teen, you may now proceed to the next stop."
I just realized just this moment that the person we're talking about, Santana, her actress, her
Yes.
body was found,
Yes.
and it was found before we watched this episode, and while I watched the episode, it made me sad.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, this episode, and I think probably the rest of the episodes will just continue to be hard to watch, especially knowing that also Finn's actor passed away toward the end of this series, and so still watching these episodes and seeing him kind of gives me a pang. So there is a lot of
Bittersweet.
yeah.
They found her body on the anniversary of Cory Monteith's death.
Yes. That is very, very eerie coincidence. It's kind of gives
Kevin-
me chills.
Kevin McHale, who played Artie, said that he feels like it was like Cory's spirit helped them find her,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was sweet. Part of the reason it's so hard to lose Naya Rivera is Santana's such a great character.
Mm-hmm.
She is.
Shouting teen gay, you may now proceed to your next checkpoint.
It's so well acted too. It's like the way she enunciates it is chef's kiss.
She's like, I'm running as a Law and Order candidate. I need people to know I'm here to keep every student safe at McKinley. And she like raises her voice again. And so she brings him to Krosky, who takes him to class. And then there's a scene with him and Krosky later. But before this, where we get a scene at the Hummel Hudson household.
Hummel Hudson household.
Yeah.
Tongue twister.
Right.
One of the few that we get, and like we see Finn drinking a glass of milk. And Bert and Blaine's like, hey, do you mind if I jam with you guys at prom? And Finn's like, oh, no, that's cool.
I totally missed that.
Me
line
too.
the first time
He
around.
showed up at prom singing, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Why is he there?
Yeah, I missed
exactly.
that too. I think I was distracted by, I mean, there's some like complex ideas going on in this this scene that we'll continue to talk about, which I think is pretty much because it's between, you know, father and son, this dynamic that they're really growing. I was also really distracted by when Kurt came down in his like sort of like kilt attire, and Finn went, it's like gay Braveheart, and I was like, I love this.
Well, I mean, okay, honestly, I was just confused by the entire scene anyway, because you have Bert, who is Kurt's father, and then you have stepson, who is Finn, lounging on the couch with Blaine, who is Kurt's boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, what exactly is going on? Because we never see any of these people hang out together.
Yeah.
And I was like, this feels very strange.
It's very like dropping you into like, this is normal now. Like Bert's not like, oh,
Yeah.
what's Blaine doing here? It's like, okay, Blaine's here, that's cool. Finn's hanging out, it's chill. Like, yeah, it's very like, this is the norm now. It is kind of disorienting. I was also really confused.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun once you like kind of realize like, oh, okay, I see what this is now.
yes, I'm figuring things out. Now it's fun.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Because Bert comes in, like, I got you guys discounts at the Tux rental shop.
Yeah.
And Blaine's like, I'm going with something simple. And Bert's like, I wore like a powder blue tux with ruffles, a giant bow tie. I looked like Tony Orlando.
Which is hilarious because I've seen my mom's prom pictures, and that is actually what guys wear.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Shout out to Beth.
Shout out to Beth.
See if Beth can send us the picture.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's actually a really good idea. We should do a collage of prom photos.
From our parents.
And us. Maybe for like social media. That's a little behind the scenes thing. So. That's actually a really good idea. I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah, and Blaine's like, is that a designer?
Oh my god, yes. And Bert's like, no. There was some really good sort of just like banter, and then it sort of shifts when Kurt comes down. He
comes down in a kilt, his homage to the royal wedding.
So he was wearing a kilt with pants.
Yes.
It's generally not how you wear kilts.
Correct. I also like they said royal wedding, and I was like, oh wow, this was really old. Like we've already had another royal wedding since then. Like it's crazy. And then a bunch of royal babies, and yeah, that was so dated, and I was like, ooh, okay.
Like, I still think it's weird that Americans have such a strange fascination with like royal anything.
I think it's just
we don't have a monarchy.
Because we don't have one.
Yeah.
So it's exciting.
I mean, the British are also obsessed.
It's nosy.
That's why they still have it.
I love the royal families on Wikipedia all the time.
I think I was born American, but I have the sensibilities of a British person, and therefore I think that all of the Americans sniffing into the royal family's business is nosy.
Very good use of the word sniffing and nosy. Very nice.
Very British. Very British.
Very British.
Did you know the current heir to the Habsburg monarchy is a race car driver?
No.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
Not really. That's a very dangerous occupation.
Yeah, well, the Habsburgs don't own any monarchies anymore. They were dethroned.
Yeah. Do they still have
Okay,
like
well,
really big jaws? I just learned about this on a YouTube video.
I saw a picture, and he does not have a big jaw.
Okay, cool. So they seem to work out some of
Yeah.
that inbreeding.
And I've met a Habsburg in
What?
college. Yeah, she took a tour of my university, and her last name was Habsburg Lothringen. I was like the Habsburgs? And she's like, yeah, like my uncle's an archduke.
I don't even know what a Habsburg is. What's a Habsburg?
They're like the biggest royal family in like Europe. They owned like Austria.
Mm-hmm. They
And,
started in Austria. They went to like Spain and shit.
Yeah, Spain, the Holy Roman Empire.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
they had big jaws because they did a lot of inbreeding. And they literally called it the Habsburg jaw because it was so pronounced and it was just kind of a thing. But it seems that they have taken care of that.
That's interesting.
Marie Antoinette was a Habsburg.
Yeah.
I am related on my father's side to the first queen. No, the first king of Scotland.
Wow. So you do have those British sensibilities, truly.
Well, I mean, it's Scottish, so.
Scottish. Mary Queen of Scots. Watch CW's Reign on Netflix.
Oh, I thought you were going to say watch the Saoirse Ronan movie, because that's also
Also watch the Saoirse Ronan movie. It's so good.
And speaking of Marie Antoinette, watch the...
Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah.
A couple of movies.
It's a classic.
All right.
So
Kurt comes down in a kilt. And he's like, it's my homage to the royal wedding and the late Alexander McQueen. And Bert is like, I don't really like it. I'm not going to stop you from wearing it, but I think you're wearing this to get attention and stir the pot. Which is the most dad phrase.
Yeah, it is. Stir the pot. Yeah, and like Blaine, Kurt's like, well, Blaine, and Blaine's like, I kind of agree with your dad.
And Kurt is like, well, I understand why you feel that way, Blaine, because of what you went through, but prom is about joy, not fear. Which reminds me of the Christmas episode when they made a lot of pronouncements as to what Christmas was about.
Yeah. This is
like,
what prom is about.
I'm like, I thought prom was about we're all horny teenagers.
yes.
No, prom is about joy, not fear. Yeah, that whole like conversation is pretty complex because like, is Kurt doing it purely just because he's like, oh, I'm gonna look great in this, or did he choose this to really sort of, like Bert said, stir the pot to get some attention?
Well,
I think it's really, really complex.
It's interesting because if you think about Kurt's wardrobe, his entire wardrobe is built around the same sort of idea of him. Not necessarily, it doesn't, how do I put this? His wardrobe definitely gets him attention. I don't know if that's why he wears the clothes that he wears, but it definitely does get people's attention.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't think this was like outside of his normal wardrobe at all. And then it's sort of just like, does that mean that they're saying that Kurt's personality is a personality that wants to gain attention?
I think that's... Go ahead.
Or is it? Or are they just being like, you? I don't know. It was interesting for me because I was like, this is what he would normally wear. Why are you calling him out on this specifically?
So the only thing I have to say is that I think because it's a quote unquote skirt is the main thing, because it's sort of a feminine item.
But it's not. It's a kilt.
But
Women
we're in
don't wear
America.
kilts.
We're in America.
No, I can't handle it. I can't handle it.
Well, that's the
Anyone
thing.
who knows about kilts knows that they're worn by men.
Okay, so also it's teenagers. So like the thing is that like he's wearing an item that Americans would signify as a feminine item. And so he's sort of playing with the masculine and feminine in this outfit. So like I definitely think Kurt does almost always have the intention of making a statement and getting attention with his fashion. But I think because this piece is a bit more coded, which they could have dug into more, like they kind of didn't really even talk about it. If they had talked about it more as like you're basically wearing a skirt, like
Yeah,
talking about it like that probably
I
would have
feel
been
like
more
that
clear.
would have made more sense
Yeah.
to me if they had talked about what exactly they were saying instead of saying that like he wants attention.
Yeah.
Saying more like, are you trying to look feminine? Or, I don't know. Just something to make it more clear to me, who is especially of Scottish blood and cannot recognize a kilt as a skirt.
I honestly think like Bert literally would have been like, why are you wearing a skirt? That would have solved it.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Because Bert would say something like that, and then Kurt would just be like, it's a kilt. And then Bert would be like, I don't know, blah, 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 blah. Like, I think
people are going to think it's a skirt, except for Allyssa Swearingen.
Specifically. And then he looks down the barrel of the camera and just points. He's like, I see you.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's that would be really spooky if that ever happened. Anyway, yeah. So
Kurt's like, Kurt handmade this suit because he said there's simply nothing off the rack for the fashionable man in Ohio.
I was like, that's probably true. But does that mean, to Alyssa's point, that he makes all of his clothes? Because those are some fashionable clothes.
I could see him. Okay, this is how I see Kurt going to Goodwill and creating all of his fashion trends from clothes that previously exist. Because if you know anything about actually making clothes,
it's a lot.
It costs a lot of money. Yeah, it's very, very expensive. The only way to really do it fiscally responsibly is to use clothes that have already been made.
Yeah.
It'd be a fun character thing to explore in the Gleeboot.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the end of that scene. Kurt's like, I'm going to wear this, and you can either come with me or not, Blaine. And it's like, oh. But Blaine still does come with him. But there's another scene with Karofsky. Karofsky's escorting him to French class, and he's like, I'm going to be in calculus. Now wait for me here. And Kurt's like, nobody said boo to me all week. Do you think it's because nobody cares? And Karofsky's like, no, it's because the bully whips are protecting you. Then he's like, Karofsky, I see your pain. And he's doing this in the middle of like a crowded doorway.
Mm-hmm.
I see your pain, and like you should need to come. Like there should be a time, if not now, soon, where you can come out. And Karofsky gets emotional, and he takes his hat off, and he's like, "I'm so sorry for what I did to you, Kurt." And Kurt's like, "I know." And then Karofsky's like, "Okay, thanks. Just wait for me."
This scene made no sense to me.
It's a little confused.
Mm-hmm.
I think the problem here is that we never see Karofsky's change. He does. All of a sudden, he just is sad about, or regrets what he did to Kurt, and we don't see why, or how being a bully whip changed him, or specific thing. We didn't see any of it. He just starts crying in the hallway. It makes no sense.
Yeah, because basically, Karofsky, we're under the impression that, he's still doing this because he and Santana are beards, and she's gonna out him.
Exactly.
So, if there was something to that where he was, starting to feel pressure from Santana about that,
honestly,
then he would be, threatening his own being outed, and he could sort of be like, okay, I kind of understand the stress of what it is to be in this position, and kind of empathize with Kurt a bit more.
I disagree with that. I feel like if he was being pressured by Santana and Kurt was like talking to him about coming out, he would be super resentful and probably threaten Kurt again. Like there's nothing that makes me think currently or in any scene that we've seen that Karofsky would empathize with Kurt. I need to see a scene
Yeah,
where
that's what
he
I'm saying is like if there was a scene constructed like that, like the only thing I could think of is with Santana and her knowing that he's gay, like there could be something with that, but yeah, like we just don't have anything like that. And then like that girl walks into the classroom and he like stops crying and he's like, okay, thanks. Like it made me think that he was faking it, that he only
Yeah.
did that. And then but then I'm like, it's either that he like was faking it and just wanted Kurt to like not apologize, but like
Forgive him.
Yeah, forgive him. And but then I was like, or it could be he like had to like save face because this person might have seen him cry or whatever.
I feel like it's probably the third one.
I don't know. I feel like they probably meant it to be authentic. Like I think they wanted it to be.
No, but I mean that's what I'm saying. Like they wanted his crying to be authentic, but he's still the type of guy who would feel weird about having a girl see him cry.
Yeah.
I thought it was he was crying because he was upset that he wasn't coming out, but he was just pretending it was about being sorry about Kurt, because he didn't want to talk about that.
Well, I mean, I feel like him crying doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, which I've already said.
Yeah.
But if like, just say, for instance, we had scenes leading up to this that and it would make more sense. Him crying would be a combination of all of the things that we've said, like him feeling pressure about not wanting to come out, and also feeling pressure from Santana, and also understanding what Kurt went through and understanding the empathy that Kurt has given to him that he probably doesn't deserve anyway. Like, it should have been one big emotional scene.
Yeah,
but we don't get any of that build-up, so it's not.
We need to see him being affected by the bully whips and or being put in a similar position to Kurt in that he feels threatened because of his identity. Like, he's being threatened by someone. Like, that's kind of the only way it would really work, because otherwise he can't truly understand what Kurt went through. Yeah, we just need more.
More Glee.
No, just different scenes.
I never thought I would say this because Karofsky was such a terrible person in the first season, but
second season.
First half of the second season.
No, he definitely is one of the first people that like throws Kurt in a dumpster or whatever.
He's got a couple
a terrible person.
Bits. He's
still a terrible person in the first season, but like he gets more terrible in the second season. Wait, no, it was the first season where he kissed Kurt, right?
Nope. No. That was the first. That was the first half of the second season. That was like episode 3 or 4, 6.
Guys, I'm losing it. Losing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a wild ride of a season.
I thought we were on literally like season 4 by now. That's what it feels like.
Anyway, Karofsky, I feel like has potential to be a really interesting character, and if we had gotten all of those scenes, it would have felt like much better. It would have had a much better payoff. And I hate to say it, but Karofsky, I feel like we need more of Karofsky.
Yeah.
Just to like round things out a bit.
The funny thing is, though, like, through this lens of 2020, we're like, I don't really believe this kind of stuff, or I have this problem, but, like, Karofsky, like, that actor, I remember him going on different talk shows and talking about, like, bullying gay teens about like playing that character and digging into that and like advocating against bullying. So like his representation, also for like closeted people bullying gay people was sort of like a big thing. So something about this representation, maybe the fact that it was one of the only ones to exist, really made an impact. So I think that's also really interesting, is like now if Glee were to be rebooted, it would have to be way more complex.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah. You need more motivations for like Santana doesn't want to come out at this point because she wants to be prom queen.
Yes, like that's not a clear motivation. Like,
I mean, if anyone has watched Sex Education, they have this exact same trope in it, but it is obviously more complex and it works a lot better.
right.
I think because, they had people that did this before them.
Yeah.
For example, Lee.
Yeah. Yeah. So Kurt and Blaine go to prom. There's this line where they're like, it's amazing how inclusive prom is. And it cuts to Becky dancing with another boy who has Down syndrome.
And that's it. That's literally the only representation.
I felt so awkward.
Yeah, it was
uncomfy. Something about it didn't feel right.
It was literally like, hey, remember that Becky exists? I was like, yeah. Oh, that's it? Okay, bye.
Also, look, we paired her with another person who has Down syndrome.
There's someone for everyone. Wasn't that kind of the line?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you're saying that Down syndrome people only have to be with Down syndrome people? I feel like that's a bad message.
Yeah.
Oh, uncomfy.
Yep, and so let's move on. Because there's nothing else to say other than uncomfy.
Yeah.
So then they're announcing prom kings and queens. Principal Figgy Fig is up there announcing, and he announces the prom king is Karofsky. And Santana is like, I won so bad. You suck so bad, Quinn Fabre. I won. And then he's like, oh, with an overwhelming number of write-in votes, the prom queen is, and he has the audacity to read this.
Right.
He reads Kurt Hummel, and the spotlight flashes on Kurt, and Kurt runs out in tears.
Which, like, okay, so, like, one, the spotlight thing, just not realistic.
Unless no prom actually is a spotlight.
Unless there was a giant conspiracy that a bunch of people knew that Kurt was gonna win, and so there's someone up there controlling the lights who knows that it's gonna be Kurt, and they have it ready. They're like, okay, that's where he is. We're gonna go there. Like, unless it's a giant conspiracy, that's not likely.
Unless it's some Carrie level shit.
That's what I was thinking. And then the other thing is, like, Figgins has a moment you can see where he's considering, like, do I say this? And honestly, he should have not, and should have been like,
he should not
have been like, this is blank, weird. Let me go and consult, and we'll be back in a second. And then they have like a meeting with teachers, and honestly, this is where Sue could be pulled away from the table, because Figgins is like, this is what's going on, I need your help or whatever. Sue could get involved. Like, Emma and Beast should also be involved. Like, these two chaperones should be there. Where are all the chaperones? Side note. And then, like, they should actually, like, have a conversation and be like, what do we do? And, like, I feel like that would be, like, maybe pulling Kurt aside, or, like, to warn him, or what. Like, I don't know. There should have been something other than just being, like, reveal. I don't know.
Yeah, so Figgins is a very irresponsible principal, as we know.
Yeah.
And I believe that my response to this when I first watched it was, I can't believe he read that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like in this situation, you know that the kids who made this decision, basically, because they all voted on him, are waiting to see what you're going to do. Having a meeting about it is possibly taking too much time to make this decision. If it were me, and I am not saying that I'm qualified in any way to make this decision, but as a viewer, if it were me, you already have the counts of the votes. Just go for the person who has the second most.
Right.
That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah. Or even just be like, Queen Ray, or just like say if you don't.
Make it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's just prom queen. I know
Yeah,
it's a
it's
big
not-
deal, but like it's not.
It's actually not a big deal. I have a news for anyone who wants to be prom queen. That's fine. You can want to be prom queen, but also know that it's not really going to impact the rest of your life.
I think because
Like, at all.
so many students care about it, we're also supposed to care about it the same way. And I literally am just like, this is a joke. Like, I can't consider it any serious at all. Like, that's what sucks, is that like I can't.
Well, I don't understand why. Does anyone think that prom queen is like an actual honor? Like, I've never met anyone who was like, yeah, I actually really want to be prom queen.
I think people
Never.
who thought high school was the best years of their life probably.
Does that mean all of the Glee writers thought that high school was the best years of their life?
No, I think they're positioning all these students to think like, this is the only thing that's important to me right now, which is like a thing that, you know, happens with everyone, but also teenagers. You know, sometimes their aspirations or problems are smaller. Firo, I'm talking. She's like outside my closet meowing. Well, come on.
Oh,
Come on.
you're kitty.
She's coming in.
The
Hi.
kitty.
Say hi. Say hi.
Oh, I heard it.
Just a tiny little squeak. Anyway, what were we talking about? Yeah, so like, honestly, because I also see this as a joke, the fact that Kurt was named Queen also comes off as a bigger joke that, like, clearly everyone in the school also thinks it's a joke, or at least in this grade thinks it's a joke, so it's an even bigger joke. It just, I don't know. It's so stupid.
Well, the weird thing is like everyone thinks that it's a joke except for the people who actually want the crown.
Yes.
Which is everyone who is in Glee. So
yeah. So
I don't know how to put this nicely, and I'm sometimes just not a nice person. But come on, Glee folks, like obviously you're the butt of the joke here. The entire school thinks you're a joke.
Yeah.
It's not even just Kurt. You know, like the whole cast of people running for the crown are all Glee members.
Which is weird because there are definitely other juniors in the school, clearly. And like, why aren't there other people running? Like, if it's not just a giant joke and only Glee people are like, this is going to make me popular, it's like, well, clearly it's not.
There actually were other people up there, and I was really hoping it was going to be some rando that none of us knew.
I didn't.
Yeah, there were. I remember there were like, I want to say 2 couples that were not Glee members.
Interesting.
But we don't know their names, and the only reason, like, I guess they were up there was just to make sure that we knew that other people were running. I don't, like, there's no competition there at all. Like, we don't know anything about them.
This whole construction is, I think the reason I feel so bad for Kurt when he's like, this is so embarrassing, is because, like, clearly a lot of people were treating the whole thing as a joke, which makes getting him voted an even bigger joke in some ways. And it's just like, that's the only thing I care about, is the fact that Kurt is like, this whole thing is a joke, and now I'm an even bigger joke.
Well, like, okay, so we're kind of skipping ahead here. After Kurt is named Queen, he runs out of the gym.
Yes.
Like, he runs out crying.
And Blaine follows him.
Yes. And then they have a conversation, which you can sum up, Cullen, because I don't remember
Yes.
Me either.
Well, Kurt's like, we thought, how stupid were we? Mainly him, but he says we. He's a royal now. He is just a royal.
Royal we. He is a royal, yeah.
That we thought just because no one was making fun of us or beating us up, that people didn't hate us, but they just were too afraid to show that hate out loud. So they did it by secret ballot. This is so humiliating. And then Blaine's like, do you want to go home? Do you want to just relax? And he's like, well, if we go, this was supposed to be about removing the lump in your throat from your bad dance experience. If we go home now, that means we're letting them win. I need to go back in and take the crown.
Remember, because prom is about joy, not fear.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I have issue with this entire conversation and Kurt's reaction to being named queen. The whole thing, I think, doesn't make sense. Because if you're in this sort of situation, you're suddenly named queen, you know immediately that if you run out of the gym, everyone is going to know that they got to you.
Yeah. So they won.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Even if he goes back in for the crown, it doesn't make a difference. They already got to you.
Yeah.
I feel like for a normal person, if you may have been in this situation, I've never been in this situation, but I imagine if I was in a situation similar, all of this would be going through my head immediately, and then I would decide to go up and take the crown before running out of the gym. And then after taking the crown and accepting it and saying, oh, haha, this was great and funny. Look at, I just, took the crown. It's not as big as a joke as you thought. Then after that, you go out and have a meltdown.
I think...
Not before.
Yeah, I think they wanted it to be like Kurt's gonna rise above from the ashes kind of thing. And, I get that, but... Yeah, you're right. Like everyone's... Like, the whole prom, they stopped and wait for Kurt to come back.
Yeah, it doesn't... No.
And,
it's not realistic.
Which means they're all sitting there talking, be like, haha, we got him.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally just a bunch of 180 teenagers going, got him,
And Principal Figgins standing on the stage doing
children, please. Please,
what am I going to do with this crown? Who's next in line?
Exactly.
By the time Kurt got back,
that would have been
any real situation.
So funny if it was next in line is Quinn Fabray, and then Quinn gets it. That would be so funny.
And then Kurt gets up on the stage. It's like, give me my crown, and it devolves into a fight between Quinn and Kurt.
I love it.
Yeah, that actually would be interesting. Yeah, so Kurt comes back in to take his crown. He gets up there. He has one of my favorite lines. They give him the crown. He's like, "Eat your heart out, Kate Middleton." And Rachel claps, and everyone starts clapping, and it's kind of a moment of triumph. And then they're like, "It's time for the dance for the prom king and queen." So Mercedes and Santana start singing "Dancing Queen," and he's like, "Krosky, this is your time." And he's like, "To what?" "To come out." And I'm like, "Oh, Kurt, you're just too dramatic for your own good."
I said that too. Also, I thought Karofsky was going to be furious. I thought he was going to freak out.
Yeah, because it doesn't make any sense why he wouldn't, because everyone has just implied that he and Kurt are a couple.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. And if this whole thing was a joke, and if, say, Karofsky were in on it, quote unquote, or wanted to act like he were in on it, which is another way it could go, he would have danced with Kurt, and then maybe during their dance tripped him or something.
It's so dark.
Yeah,
but it's good. It's good. It's actually really good drama.
Yes, it is. I have to rewriting Glee. I'm rewriting the scene. It's gonna be there.
Well,
But like,
there's something inherently dark about them writing in Kurt and also voting for Karofsky is the fact that means everyone in the school or everyone in this grade knows that Karofsky and Kurt have some sort of beef, and either they know what that beef is and they're just doing it regardless, or they don't know what that beef is and they could be making it worse.
yeah, exactly.
And that beef is that Karofsky threatened to kill Kurt.
Right. I feel like this entire scene could have been so much darker and filled with so much more drama. Just like if Karofsky had, for example, taken stock of the situation and decided it was in his best interest to humiliate Kurt even further. This is looking at how you can make an evil person even more evil, because I love evil characters. I love villains, and I like writing them. Anyway, let's move on.
I think the major thing is, though, like, even though we made fun of that line, like, prom is about joy, not fear, that's, like, the big theme of this whole episode, and kind of, like, it makes sense that none of these bad things happened because they set us up from a pretty early spot.
That is true. Of course, we could, like, name that as the theme and
then be like,
it.
psych.
Yes. Actually, prom is about fear.
But-
Grow up, high
We recreate
schoolers.
Carrie.
But I do like that it was a triumphant episode. That there was that element of triumph over your bullies, because there wasn't a lot of that out there for gay teens at the time.
Right, that's true.
And this was like, hey, you can have prom, you can have a fun time with your friends. Like, this can be part of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because the episode ends with Krosky leaves and Blaine is like, can I have this dance? And so they start dancing to Dancing Queen, and everyone's dancing and balloons fall down. And everyone's having a good time, and we all see pictures of them in the photo booth. And it's all really cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did feel triumphant. I still feel like we could have gone deeper and darker, and it still could have been triumphant in a less cheesy way. But
Yeah.
also, I mean, Glee is not a super dark show, so
Yeah,
maybe not.
it's way more cheesy and light, and uses the darkness as a humor thing rather than,
Well, tries.
Well,
tries
tries
to use
to.
it as humor.
and I guess it does use darkness as just straight up drama too, but
The interesting thing is, I think that Glee, like, wants to show the light and fluffy side of itself, but deals with issues that are they just don't really have a light and fluffy side of it. So it's like kind of unbalanced in that way.
yeah.
So next is the Rachel, Mercedes, Quinn, Finn, Jesse, Sam.
Yeah, we're not
Everyone
done
else.
yet.
Now it's time for the heteros.
Yes. Straight
So-
storyline.
Storyline. That just kind of fizzles out. So Mercedes leaves after Will is like, so you got time to dance with your dates.
Ugh.
Because she doesn't have a date and therefore is not going to prom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not going.
Because she doesn't have a date.
Nobody's asked me. And because Quinn's like, yeah, nobody's asked Mercedes to the prom. And Rachel's like, I'll go talk to her.
Wait, so I'm confused by this double standard of why girls have to have dates but guys don't.
No, I think it's actually worse the other way around.
Except they don't address that.
Yeah, but I think it's...
In real life, sure. Like,
Yeah.
I think girls are much more comfortable going with a group of friends than guys are going with
Yeah.
a group of friends.
Yeah.
But they don't address this idea at all.
Well, I think Sam has that comment, like, are we singing songs about prom? Like, I think it's implied that he's not going.
I think his is a money thing less than I don't have a date thing.
Yeah, and then there's Artie, who's, like, asking Brittany to go, and she says no, and then they never like address that again. Like, so he's still going.
He goes
Without a
because he
date?
has nothing left to live for. We'll get to that too.
Yeah, it's all, I don't know. I just feel like it's a very strange way to present going to prom, and somewhat antiquated. Was it antiquated in 2000? What was this? 10?
11, something like that.
Yeah, they say our 2011 prom king and queen.
2011?
Yeah.
I do kind of, I agree. I think it is a bit antiquated because I think it's taking this sort of like what we've already kind of decided is a bit trivial. This idea that like prom queen, like prom court is a really big deal, but the people who really care about it, who only really care about it, are the girls. And so I think the reason why it's so focused on like girls not having dates is because prom is basically like pre-wedding. Because even Quinn is like, even your wedding day isn't even this important because you can get married as many times as you want. And I'm like, okay, valid point, I guess, but still. So yeah, I think.
Yeah, but your prom dress doesn't cost $6,000.
True, 6,000 plus.
Yeah.
I don't know. The thing that I was most confused about was that Kurt was like, okay, I'm gonna go talk to her, and Rachel's like, no, I'll go talk to her. And I was like, I didn't really think that Rachel and Mercedes were that good of friends.
They
And
had
then,
the sleepover in the Valentine's Day episode.
yeah, but they don't hang out just the two of them, I don't think. It's mostly just them and Kurt, right? Kurt's kind of the link.
Yeah, I would say.
So I can understand why, like, Kurt probably wouldn't have handled it that well because we know how he handles
You'd be
Mercedes'
like, Mercedes,
love
you need to respect yourself.
life. Yeah. Don't eat tots. Put on a dress and go to prom. But I also was like, why Rachel? Like, this would have been a really interesting if we had built up Quinn and Mercedes, a real interesting spot for Quinn to be like, I'm gonna take care of this.
If they had carried over season 1 Quinn instead of resetting her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Resetting her to someplace worse, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Rachel goes over to Mercedes and is all like, what's wrong? And she's like, I may talk a big game about not needing a man, but I just want a date and a dress and the damn corsage. And I just want to, and Rachel's like, you know, I don't have a date. And she's like, I just want to stand under, Mercedes is all like, I want to stand under those courting paper streamers and have a guy tell me I look beautiful and ask me to dance. I want to be Cinderella. And Rachel's like, you can go with me. And Mercedes is like, that's even worse. And Rachel's like, no, I have a plan.
See, I find this conversation so needling because I feel like every girl grows up thinking that that's what she's supposed to want. And it's very annoying to me.
Mm-hmm.
Update. Alyssa finds the patriarchy annoying.
Yes.
Certified annoying.
It was like, because I remember when I was in high school that was something that, like, I thought that I wanted because you're literally coded to think that way. And it's so... I can't say. Yeah, it's just like, I'm just dying inside. My heart and lungs and stomach are being, like, knotted all together by some unseen force and, like, patted into a meatball that's later going to be fried and eaten by the patriarchy.
Interesting.
Alyssa's whole body is, like, convulsing right now.
I tried to express this through poetic gore.
I don't know. Mercedes is always such a sort of nebulous character because I don't really know what to do with her. And this kind of felt like, hey, we haven't really done anything with Mercedes lately. Let's make her sad again.
Yeah.
Because sadness equals character development, right, guys?
Right.
Uh-huh.
So then Rachel is leading Sam into the auditorium. He's like, "Is this a surprise party? Because my birthday was last week."
And then she's like, "Oh, I didn't know that. Happy birthday." And I'm like, "You guys are in a club together. What the fuck?"
Sam went from being like the hot new arm candy that everyone wanted to like the one everyone is ignoring.
Yeah.
And I kind of love that because that's so high school where it's like, you're the new kid, oh my gosh. And then like 10 seconds later,
and
they're
they're like, "This new kid
"It's
is
your
exactly
birthday?"
like us."
Yes.
Yeah.
Still love Sam though.
Yeah, no, that's why Sam's one of my favorite characters. Yeah, and so Sam and so Mercedes and Rachel are like, "Would you like to be our like 3-way prom date, but not the dirty kind?" He's like, "I don't have money to take one girl to prom, let alone two." And they're like, "Here's $20. It's our prom budget. We'll walk there. We'll get the $8.99 all you can eat special ed breadsticks. Me and Mercedes will get dresses from Goodwill, and we'll make corsages with flowers from Mercedes' mom's garden."
Which is a cool idea.
Yeah. No, some of my friends in high school, their mom was a florist, so she'd always make their corsages and stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Corsages need a lot more than just flowers, though.
They need ribbon and sparkly things.
Yeah, but you also have to know how to use like electric tape, and
Ugh,
Yeah.
that sounds awful.
you have to tape them together, and then you can. Yeah, it's it takes more work than I think Rachel, Mercedes, and Sam have. Like,
AKA, it takes more
combined.
work than the writers know.
Maybe Mercedes' mom is really into.
yeah, maybe their parents.
That's
help
true.
out.
Yeah, maybe.
Their parents help.
Yeah, maybe Mercedes' mom, like Quinn's mom, cures her own meats. Mercedes' mom takes floral arranging classes.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's a
I liked it.
headcanon.
It's a headcanon. Her dad's a dentist and her mom's a florist.
Done.
Yeah.
Character development.
Now
Now we know more about Mercedes.
So then Sam so they're like, okay, we're gonna go as a 3-way prom date. And then meanwhile, so then Rachel is practicing a song for prom. She asked the AV club. She's like, may or may not perform the song at prom, and I want to know if I was brilliant or simply outstanding.
So Rachel, such a Rachel line.
Yes, it was great.
And she starts singing Adele's Rolling in the Deep.
Yeah.
And then a burst of eroticness onto the scene. In a scarf, Jesse St. James arrives, singing along to Rolling in the Deep.
It was great.
Hannah, are you there, or have you been slain?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, this is like the second time it's happened where you guys like went gray again. So
We thought you just died thinking about Jesse St. James.
We can leave that in. We can edit this out and just pretend this never happened. I did die. He's wearing a thin scarf. I'm here for it. I actually started with like she started singing it and I was like, oh, I don't think I like this cover. I don't remember it. And then Jessie started singing. I was like, oh no, I remember this cover. I love it. Also, the AV club is singing, and I'm like, why are these people not in Glee Club?
I was like, did Jesse just hire all of these background singers specifically for when he decided to make his entrance?
Yeah, they're actually shadowing as if they are in the AV club. They're not even students. They're professional singers he brought with him.
Yes. I was actually very surprised that he showed up again. I was not expecting it.
Me either. I totally forgot it. And I was floored. There was a lot of sing acting happening, like the lyrics really lining up and Rachel really getting into it with her eyes. Jesse was so erotic.
He actually was in this song. I agree with you. Sometimes I don't. This time I do.
I'm still thinking of the ballet number that they did. It's like, it's so erotic.
Yeah, he like holds out his hand to her and she like doesn't take it, and they're all like,
the sexual tension is electric.
They're perfectly dramatic for each other.
Yeah. They really are.
And then, so then afterwards, she's like, Jesse, what are you doing here? He's like, I wanted to see you. And then it turns out he dropped out of college, or he flunked out of college, because he thought they would get an Asian kid to take all his other classes for him, because he was majoring in show choir. Which is a major?
I don't think so. I think that's inaccurate. I think... Okay, so the big thing that I got was... I was like, I love that they just keep singing their duet instead of stopping and being like, yeah, so I'm back. That's why I'm here. Let's talk. And I was like, that's so dramatic of them to just keep going, even though they could stop after the first verse. And then I literally wrote, oh my God, Jesse is that stupid. Because he like seemed to genuinely believe it, not just be like, he's not just being a brat. Like, I think he believes it, and I'm like, oh no.
Poor Jesse.
Yeah. Except not poor Jesse. He's kind of a douche, but he's so erotic. Also, he's an adult man now. Okay? He flunked out of college, whatever. He's gonna go to prom?
Oh, yeah. I actually...
a 16, maybe 17-year-old girl? Because she's only a junior. She could be 16 or 17.
Mm-hmm.
She's
September.
She was a September baby. So she's either like Cullen and I, and she's real young in her age or in her grade, or she's one of the older ones.
Let's go with older.
Let's pray that it's older.
I knew people who brought people who had already graduated from high school to prom.
I don't know how I feel about it.
Because sometimes people start dating in high school and then...
Yeah, it's something so, like, it seems simple, but then also when you think about it, like, it's actually kind of complex because of, like, how we code 18 as being, like, you become an adult.
Yeah, but that's even different per country. So, I mean, a lot of places, the age of consent is 16.
Yeah, I mean, that's, even in some states. But I'm saying, like, just in general, we kind of code 18 as, like, you're an adult. And it's, like you're out of high school, but then, like, if you're with someone who's in high school, I don't know. It's just, I've never been in that situation, so I'm just, like, I don't even know how that would even go.
There was a guy in college that always talked about his 16-year-old girlfriend, and it made the rest of us uncomfortable. And I was like a freshman, but I was like, why are you a sophomore in college with a 16-year-old girlfriend? Yeah. I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing is that when you get older, that age difference doesn't matter as much.
Right.
But when you're still in, like, the defining stages of your adolescence, it's a big gap.
Yeah. It's just very... I don't know. It's complex. I don't want to think about it. It makes my head spin.
I think Glee was thinking about it like, ooh, love triangle.
Yeah. And we're
what's
like,
the age of consent?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's probably 16 in Ohio. Let me Google.
I legitimately forgot that Jesse St. James was a senior. The last time we saw him.
I actually forgot. I was like, wait, he's still in high school. I'm like, no he graduated last year.
I completely forgot.
Because Rachel's talking about how confused she was because she's like, one day you're telling me that you love me, the next you're throwing eggs at my head. And he's like, you know, I traded love for a fourth consecutive national championship. It was a bum deal. Maybe for a first, but for a fourth? No.
That's really bold of you, Jesse. That's so sweet of you to say that it wasn't worth it.
Betraying me.
God, but you know when he was putting eggs on her face, he was wearing that awesome blue jacket.
Yeah, so he's like, what are you doing for prom? And then Finn, in a later scene, is all like, hey, Rachel, I heard a nasty rumor that Jesse is back in town and you're taking him to prom. And she's like, he's just joining us on our prom on a budget. And he's like, oh, don't you, like, that kid betrayed you. He's bad news. And she's like, frankly, you don't get to tell me what to do or who to date. You lost that the moment you broke up with me. And I was like, Or maybe he shouldn't have been able to tell you what to do
At all.
ever. But
Yeah.
Yeah. What was it? And she also said something about...
she's like, I expect you to support me in this relationship as much as I support you and Quinn. And I'm
I was
like,
like,
which is not at all.
Wait,
Yeah.
a minute. Back up again.
Yeah.
Say that? What?
Yeah. He was like aggressive, like pursuing her to her locker to talk about this. And I was like, you're being really creepy.
I don't understand. Like,
They're
obviously
so
these two,
toxic.
they are super toxic, and they don't know how to, like, live life without each other. So not only are they toxic, they are codependent.
And
Because he's like, I still care about you. But it's like, he needs to learn how the appropriate friend way to care about someone.
But
Yes.
was it last episode that they did all that Fleetwood Mac stuff? And it was literally about like
Rachel
like,
trying
you're
to break
not-
up him and Quinn.
yeah, and like
Yeah.
you're not allowed to talk to her or hang out with her really because like
Yep.
it makes Quinn uncomfortable. And it's like, what are you doing right now? Like it made no sense.
And then he basically uses Rachel as his like emotional cheating
Yeah.
punching bag, not punching bag, that's a little too dark, but like depository, where he's like, I don't really want to go to this stupid prom anymore. Quinn has us handing out pens with our names on them. Like, where's the dignity? And he's like, then I'm going to get I hate wearing a tux. I'm going to get the wrong corsage, and Quinn's going to be mad at me, and her mom's going to look at me weird. And Rachel's like, oh, get a gardenia. You don't want something to distract from Quinn's face. And get a light green ribbon to match her eyes. And then she walks away about to cry.
I just like when I first saw it, I was like, okay, there's something really selfless about Rachel doing that. Like she literally just took all of this emotional baggage he's throwing on her and she helped him and then left it. I was like, okay, there's something to that. But then the whole context is he's just being such a jerk. He's like all up in her business about Jesse, and then he's like, I'm having girlfriend issues right now. And it's like, dude, back the fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah, Finn was... I don't want to spoil the end of it.
Yeah, no spoiler. Spoiler free.
Finn... So then it basically cuts to prom, and they play this evil music when they show Quinn getting ready, which I hate. Why do we have to make
didn't even
Quinn
notice that.
evil?
I did not
Really?
notice that at all.
Yeah, it's like this like kind of like sultry, like trinkly kind of music.
Interesting.
Are you just like associating evilness with this sultry music?
I'm trying to describe this music without
Right.
the proper language to describe music.
Okay.
Valid.
I did not notice.
I didn't notice it either. That's interesting. But there is something really strange. It actually kind of felt like a horror movie now that you're saying it. Like there's the mirror with the 3 panes and you can see her in all at different angles and it was very eerie. It was very unsettling.
We're supposed to hate Quinn for wanting to be prom queen, but
Like, why?
to me, I'm like, you went through so much last year. Like, can't this girl want some return to normalcy?
Yeah. Well,
She's also not even okay. So we're supposed to hate her for wanting to be prom queen. Why? Because she's pretty. She hasn't done anything underhanded to try to be prom queen. Literally everyone else who wants to be prom queen has done something underhanded, except for Quinn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't
no,
think
she
of anything
literally
right now.
she's campaigning like a normal person.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. That's really interesting.
We are literally just supposed to be hating on her because she's prettier than everyone else.
Well, I mean, we'll get into it a little bit later about what am I talking about? Basically just like how far being pretty can get you and how important it is to be pretty. We'll talk about that a little later in the storyline.
In the episode?
Yeah, in this, yeah.
Yeah. So then, her mom, I assume her mom was curing some meats, and
Yeah.
Finn arrives and is like, "Oh, Quinny, your date is here," and so Finn is talking, and he's like, "Oh, one of the advantages of being in Glee Club is you know your way around a cummerbund." And I just love that awkward little dialogue.
I have a question. When did they ever wear cummerbunds as the Glee Club? The only time.
Didn't they wear them when they sang to Beast?
Oh,
What is a
maybe
cummerbund?
because I was gonna say the only time I remember it is during Acapellas.
Oh god.
Oh no.
Yeah, trigger.
Someone explain this to me. What is it?
It's like it goes around your waist.
Yeah, it does it
In
go
Dan's
does it go
waist?
under the vest, or is it in place of a vest?
It's
normally
usually in place of a vest,
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Because I used to wear one for dance.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. It's the thing that's like right here, and it's
Yeah.
like okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's right there.
It's like,
This visual medium.
It's like over your stomach, and it looks very strange.
It kind of looks like they cut the top half of a vest off.
Yes.
And then
like,
turned it
why
around.
is it in place of vest?
Yeah.
I don't understand that logic, but okay.
it probably dates back to some like royal fashion.
Yeah,
thing.
it's probably like the man's version of a corset, but it's not as tight.
Men used to wear corsets back in the day.
Yeah.
Fun facts. Yeah. So Quinn comes down, and Finn is like, "You're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen," and he gives her the corsage. It matches my eyes. And her mom is like, "You look like Cinderella. Like, let's take a picture," which is the second name drop of my favorite Disney princess in this prom episode.
Well, I mean, she does kind of look like Cinderella. She's wearing a blue dress and she's blonde. So,
Yeah. She literally does.
yeah, that's it. That's all the requirements you need to be Cinderella.
You know, or you can look any way you want because Cinderella's in our hearts.
She's also quite literally in a Disney movie with blonde hair in a blue dress.
Yes.
Hannah's gone again.
No, I'm here.
You're here!
I've been here.
You just haven't been talking because we're talking about Disney movies again.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen Cinderella all the way through because I don't really like Cinderella.
I don't like Cinderella either.
What I did see, though, was the live-action movie that I did not care for.
I love that movie.
Okay.
I don't understand why.
It's so good.
I don't like any of the live-action ones. They make me all really uncomfortable. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm hoping that Mulan is going to be actually good.
Me too, because I think it's going to be pretty different from the
Yeah.
Disney version in general, that it's going to be kind of
Yeah.
like a new take, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I like when they're more of like a new take.
Yeah, not
Love
like shot for shot, but with looking like real animals, and it looks
Yeah.
like literal garbage.
Lion King. What?
Lion King.
Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast was so awful because they used motion capture.
That wasn't the only reason, but that was one
Well,
reason.
okay. I'm saying that the animation of the Beast was awful because they
Yeah,
used
that was
motion
pretty
capture.
bad.
Specifically the animation of the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast took me like 6 watches of like 20 minutes each because I couldn't do it all in one sitting.
Anyway, Glee.
So, yeah, so then Finn and Quinn go to prom, and then we go to Breadsticks, where Mercedes, Sam, Jesse, and Rachel are all eating and laughing, and they're like, "Oh, you look so good," and Sam's like, "What do you think of my bolo tie? I saw Springsteen wearing it," and Jesse's like, 20 years ago, being all snobby.
He really is snobby.
Yeah.
I was like, Sam, you're adorable.
And then like Jesse kind of gets like really condescending, and it made me really uncomfortable.
Because he's like, Rachel told him about Sam's family, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, there's nothing to be ashamed of."
No, that whole scene was making me really uncomfortable because I hope that, Rachel said to Sam, "Oh, I hope you don't mind I told Jesse." And then
This person he's never met, right?
Yeah, and then Jesse goes, "Oh, he doesn't mind. It's fine because no one should be ashamed of that." And I was like, that's not how that works.
Yeah, and then
You don't tell people things like that.
And then he goes, yeah, I had my own hardships, blah, 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 blah. And they were literally like bogus. I don't quite remember what they were, but I wrote
He
these are
couldn't
bogus.
get a job as a singing waiter at Johnny Rockets.
Yeah, okay. Pretty bogus. I mean, sucks that you're unemployed, but like, not the same thing.
Well, we don't even know if he's unemployed. We just know he doesn't have the job that he wants.
He doesn't yeah. But it was just really like, this made Jesse really unlikable. Like, there was some stuff previously that he's done that like, it's like fun unlikable, but this is just straight up unlikable.
Yeah, and it's not even like in context of being like, typically I want to say when Jesse interacts with other people, he seems kind of ditzy, but not like an asshole. And then we see his jerk side whenever he's interacting with Rachel. I suppose that could be because most of his scenes are with Rachel. But I feel like this is the first time we see him being a terrible person to someone other than Rachel.
Yeah, because I think mostly like him being a jerk was about stuff that like show choir stuff or music stuff that he knew about. This is like life stuff, and it's real rude.
He's just, because he's like, nothing to be ashamed of, and then he's like, I'm going to start a business because I hear that it's good to start a business is during a recession. I hear that's the best time.
He's like,
and I don't know what a recession is, but it's my understanding that we're in one.
I laughed really hard. I was like, that's a really great line.
And Rachel's like, he's so smart. Don't know how he flunked out of college.
And I'm like, well, that's exactly why.
I really hope Rachel doesn't flunk out of college.
We'll see. And he's like, I'm gonna start a show choir like coaching dance studio where I can like help show choirs for competitions. And they're like, oh, is that a good idea? And she's like, oh, that's a great idea. It's how we'll beat vocal adrenaline. Mr. Chu will hire him in a heartbeat. And then Finn and Quinn stop by and they like vote for Hudson Fabre. And then Finn is like, hey Jesse, what'd you order? Scrambled eggs? Or oh wait, I forgot you liked your eggs on people's heads.
Yeah, Kuba and Finn. That one actually took me a while to get because I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I was like, oh yeah, that happened in season 1, like 4,000 weeks ago.
And he's like, Quinn, Jesse's like, Quinn, if you get tired of your date stepping all over your toes, I'd be happy to cut in. And Mercedes is like, let me just stop. You're really ruining the vibe.
She's like, everyone shut up. You guys look great. Have fun. We'll see you there. Goodbye. Leave us alone.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal is between those two boys, but they piss me off.
It's this Rachel love triangle that I cannot fathom.
So then, speaking of that love triangle, at the prom, Rachel is singing Jar of Hearts for a slow song.
I'm confused because this song, it's like, it's saying like, you hurt me. And she's like singing it at Finn, but it doesn't make sense because like, she's the one who cheated on Finn and hurt him. And I'm like, Rachel, what?
Okay, not only that, but can we just agree that it is not a good slow song
it's
to
not
be
a song
singing?
For prom.
Yeah, no, you don't sing that so couples dance together slowly and ruminate on how they probably are cheating on each other. Like, that's what the song is all about, like people hurting each other. It's not a good slow song to sing at prom.
Yeah.
But they would totally play that at prom. Like, 'cause it was the popular song at the time.
It was a popular song. I don't remember that being at any of my proms.
They would, I mean, they played Party in the USA 3 times at my junior prom. But they...
That's it? Only 3?
Only 3 times. But, like, they just play whatever song was popular.
Right. I kind of feel like this one is a bit too depressing. Because it's, like, if you're going to have a slow song, it's supposed to be, like, somewhat romantic, and this is the opposite.
I feel like they do play. So here's the thing about playing songs at prom. From what I've heard about DJing, is like that you are supposed to choose your slow songs very carefully because they come at peak moments of like where the energy of the room is.
Yeah.
And so, like, there aren't as many slow songs. Why would you choose this as one of them?
Why would you choose this really depressing, what's her name? Christina Perry. Like, I feel like I was watching a scene from Twilight. Like, that's how depressed I was.
Honestly, I love this song.
I do too, but away from this context.
It's not a good song to be playing at prom as like a romantic song.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's staring at Finn, and Quinn is like, I'm happy I'm here with you. It's what I've always wanted. And then Mercedes is sitting there, and Sam is like, they tell you look beautiful, like, do you want to dance? And he takes her hand, and
there's like a shot on their hands coming together, and I was like, oh my god, I ship Sam Sadie's. It's happening.
It was adorable.
It was
two
so
of the
good.
most precious people in Glee Club together.
Yes, this is what we want.
Yeah. So that happened, and it was cute. And then I'm pretty sure it cuts to Tina and Mike making out super messily.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Tina, that messy bitch, I love her. I love Mike and Tina. Everyone else is having so much drama.
Well, Tina's dress, though, like, her entire outfit, so gorgeously, like, emo Lolita. It's very cool. I like it.
I think you just killed Hannah with that Lolita
By
reference.
saying Lolita, yeah, I did die a little bit.
You know that's like a fashion statement.
Yeah,
right?
It's just like the term. I just, I'm twitching a little
But
bit.
that's what it is. That's what it's called.
Anyways, Tina looked great, and Tina and Mike are just having a good time.
Yeah.
We love them. So then when Kurt is... Oh, no, I'm skipping over this drama.
Yeah.
So then Rachel and... So, okay, where do I start? So Blaine is on stage singing I'm Not Gonna Teach Your Boyfriend How to Dance With You with Brittany and Tina. And they're all dancing, and Rachel and Jesse are having a good time, and Finn is staring at them all jealous. And he comes over and he like pulls Jesse away and is like, hey, keep it PG.
Yeah,
And-
because
because they
like
were-
macking on her neck.
Yeah.
Which is,
Yeah.
it's a little weird, but that doesn't mean that, like, Finn has literally no right to do that.
Nope.
Yeah.
None whatsoever.
Well, as Jesse says, it's none of YB your business.
Good one, Jesse. Said no one.
And then Finn's like, you're at my school, so it's my business. And then they start, like, then Jesse pushes him. I paid attention to this the second time I watched, so I'm like, who starts this? Jesse pushes him, and then Finn and Jesse keep pushing each other, and Quinn's like, stop, you're ruining everything. And then Finn throws a punch at Jesse, who dodges it, and then Sue shows up and is like, you are both out of prom. Prom is over for you. And Quinn is like, but we're nominated for prom king and queen. And she's like, it sucks, sister, or whatever. And that is the last we see of them.
Wait, I'm confused. I thought Finn made contact. He did not?
He didn't actually hit
Mm-mm.
Jesse with the punch. But it was close, and then Jesse made like a face like, oh my gosh, he almost punched me.
Interesting. My brain must have just inserted violence where there was no violence.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh, but this is the perfect time to talk about Brittany's dress because she's on stage. She is wearing a spectacular neon green dress. Fabulous. I loved it.
She looks so good. She
She
had a little
did.
top hat
Yeah,
thing.
she had one of those little top hat hair things that I remember used to be really popular.
yeah.
Like, you could buy them
I
in
actually
layers.
think someone I went, like, in my prom group wore one of those.
Yeah.
I actually think she may have.
Yeah, everyone honestly looks so good at prom.
Mm-hmm.
They looked great.
Lauren was not wearing her yellow lemon meringue dress. She was wearing
She looked great.
a blue, like a midnight blue dress,
Mhm.
and it looked really good on her.
Yeah, it was a really good dress.
Mercedes was
purple, like
Yeah.
magenta
Was she in that dress that she... Did we see her try on a dress
with Kurt.
with
No.
her? No. Okay. Yeah, she was wearing like a purple magenta dress, and it had not sequins,
Rhinestones?
Gemstones on it.
Rachel was in like a light pink.
Yes, light pink. We already touched on
Quinn.
Quinn. He's wearing blue. Tina was wearing black, of course.
Yeah, everyone just looked great.
Yeah, they did. I actually, Kurt was wearing the outfit that he had made for himself, right? Okay, but I remember him saying it's not finished yet. But I don't remember there being any real difference between the finished version and the unfinished version. Okay, good.
So then, let's see. So where are we at? Then Quinn glares at Rachel when the two boys get dragged away. And then after Kurt gets nominated prom queen, Quinn runs into the bathroom crying. Rachel follows her, and she's like, "This is all your fault. No one once voted for me because they know he would rather be with you." And then she slaps her. And then she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And it cuts to it later.
No, there's something. Rachel says something first before Quinn slaps her.
She says, like, what?
No, there was more to it than that, I think.
No.
Quinn, are you still there?
Yeah, no. The stuff that I have written down happens after the slap.
Yeah.
She's like comforting Quinn.
Yeah. Because Rachel's like, some girls would hate being slapped, but I happen to appreciate the drama of it all.
Maybe my brain is inserting things where I think it should be again.
More violence. Rachel says, "Bring it on."
Pretty much. Well, I feel like she at least should say, that's not true, or I don't know.
She said something like that.
Well, see, there. She said it. And then she gets slapped.
Yeah. So this kind of dovetails into this whole thing we talked about with Quinn and her her sort of getting ready montage scene thing, and then also just the concept of prom queen in general is that this really is about prom queen is about succeeding at being pretty. That's sort of how Quinn sees it, and I think that's how Quinny's even established it when she first saw the crown. Remember really early on she went into her mom's closet and she was looking at the crowns her mom had.
Yeah, that was the whole episode
and she's
where
literally
we found out that she's not.
It's literally focused on being pretty, and being pretty makes you live longer or something like that. And then also Lauren attaches this sort of attractiveness to the crown and to prom queen too. So basically Rachel's response to Quinn being upset is because Quinn's I'm so afraid of everything, because she didn't win or whatever. And she's like, "You have nothing to be afraid of. You're very pretty, the prettiest girl I've ever seen." And I'm like, how does that even equate? Saying you don't have to be afraid because you're pretty. You're pretty, everything is solved.
She said something else though.
Yeah, after she said, "You're the prettiest girl I've ever seen."
That's her
and you're so much
response.
more than that.
Yeah. That's
which is literally any movie ever where every person is to the person who thinks that they're not pretty when they're actually gorgeous. It's don't worry, you are pretty, but you're also so much more.
But it's also specifically linked to Quinn's future and her safety, and the fact of Rachel's literally saying you're gonna be able to do anything because you're pretty is really it's really toxic. And it's kind of this thing that's been kind of purveying throughout, I think, this part of the season with
Well,
prom.
yeah, because
prom queen is about succeeding at being pretty, and because popular equals pretty, and it's just all these weird messages that they're throwing around.
Not only that, but then there's the episode where Rachel wanted to get a nose job, and we find out that Quinn wasn't pretty to begin with. Yeah. And then we see the scene in the doctor's office where she's like, "Oh yeah, people treat me different because I'm pretty."
Yeah, she's like, "I have it so easy."
What?
And then now all of a sudden she's like, "I'm so afraid." And Rachel's like, "It's okay, you're pretty, you'll be fine."
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, like Rachel's instinct to say like it's okay, you're pretty is crazy to me.
But she does also say you're also a lot more.
Yeah.
I just read the emphasis of the sentence should be on the you're a lot more.
Yeah. It's
But I also get what you're saying.
yeah, it just I think because the whole I don't know. It's just really uncomfy.
I was expecting Rachel to be like, Quinn, you have straight A's. You're one of the smartest people I know. And then she
Right.
said you're one of the prettiest people I
Also,
know.
I have no idea like how great Quinn is as a student really. Like I'm assuming she's good because she was in Cheerios and like she kind of has to be. And also like she just seems genuinely smart, but like yeah, it feels like we don't know anything else about her accomplishments. And so like I don't even know if she has any because we just don't know about them. All we as an audience know is that she's pretty and that's what she succeeds at.
It's really annoying. They don't even like in this situation, maybe a typical way to handle it is being like the crown doesn't mean anything. You are, and then you list all of the things that they are and don't talk about them being pretty.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And in this case, they don't even say that they don't acknowledge that being prom queen isn't like a real thing. I mean, obviously it's real. It happens, but like it doesn't mean anything. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything for your future. You know, like maybe are they just trying to imply that it doesn't mean anything for people's future because Kurt got the crown and like Quinn didn't? I don't know. They're so weird about what they decide to be on the nose about, and then what is gonna like fly under the radar, and the audience is supposed to immediately understand.
I'm gonna say it. This episode's messages don't make any sense.
Surprise!
I still loved it. So much drama. I love drama.
I love drama too, but I did not like this drama.
I love drama so much. It's kind of slightly insane. But I feel like this episode could have had so much more drama.
Well, I love proms. So
Dreams and proms. Cullen's face.
So that's basically, so then they're singing Dancing Queen, and we get shots of Rachel with Mercedes and Sam taking pictures together, and Quinn takes a solo pic. I wanted Quinn and Santana to take a picture together because they're supposed to be friends, but whatever.
The last thing Santana said to Quinn was, what was it?
You suck
so bad.
Yeah, I don't think they're that great friends anymore.
So speaking of that, let's just get into the quick Santana storyline, and then we have Artie. So Santana is upset when she loses prom queen, and she's like, Quinn threatens to transfer schools, and Santana threatens to move to a lesbian colony. And she's like, it's like they knew I was lesbian. Do I smell like a golf course? And Brittany's like, they knew you were hiding something. And Santana's like, just because I hate everyone at the school doesn't mean they have to hate me. And Brittany's like, I voted for you because I know all the awesomeness that you are. I thought it was a really sweet scene. Like, I thought Brittany and Santana were acting the hell out of it.
Yeah.
And Santana's somewhat not realistic about her expectations when she hates people, but hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Brittany, she also was like, she's like, you should just like be you kind of thing. And I think it's totally different from like what Kurt's asking Karofsky to do, because Kurt's specifically being like, you need to come out of the closet kind of thing. But like Brittany's like, just be yourself to Santana, like open up a little bit. And I think there is something really special about that scene.
Yeah, this scene is like the messages that we wanted for the entire episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just is one scene. It's not even a full storyline.
Exactly.
But Brittany's out there like saying best prom ever. Brittany's having a great time. We see her dancing with a girl at one point.
Yeah, she's having a great time.
She
and
also-
she's rocking her dress.
To be fair, she also does like jump on Mike Chang. And she does
Yes, I
rip her
remember
off
that.
of him. It's really funny.
It is really funny.
I died for all the little like side shots. We had like everyone together and all their reactions. And...
There was also a side shot of, I think, when they were doing like the slow dance, there was legit a kid wearing a Bluetooth in his ear.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was like, why is he in this shot? What's going on?
He
Why
was a
does
crew
he have
member,
Bluetooth?
and they're like, we need another person.
Probably. Like,
Bring Chuck on.
Yeah, and then someone like got into the edit and like, Chuck's still wearing his fucking Bluetooth.
Our budget for post is shot. It's fine. No one will notice.
No one will notice. And here I am, however many years later, to be like, a Bluetooth. A fucking Bluetooth. People don't wear those anymore.
Yeah, so now we just have Artie.
I don't want to talk about it. Can we just end the episode?
So we'll be quick.
Yeah, it's super quick.
Huck wants Artie to spike the punch because Jacob and Israel opens the episode with being like, Huck, where does Lauren keep your balls? And Puck's like, I'm going to beat you. He's like, I don't care. I've been hit by a girl before.
I just now am putting that together.
I don't want to unpack it.
I
We're
don't
gonna keep
either.
that.
I literally
I'm gonna
just,
keep that in its ugly little box.
it's there.
It did not hit me until just this moment exactly what was implied.
Dissect it yourself at home. It's too much.
Yeah, and he wants Artie to help him spike the punch so he can be declared the prom anti-king and maintain his rep as a lovable miscreant. And I'm like, lovable? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would say lovable.
And Artie's like, I want to ask Brittany to prom. So he does a promposal with all the guys where he's like, I'm sorry I called you stupid, and I want you to go to prom with me. And he sings Isn't She Lovely? A song which
I literally, he started singing it, and I was like, I remember this cover, but I don't remember this context. And I was like, this song is about a baby. And then not even 5 seconds later, Mercedes like, isn't this about a baby? I was like, Mercedes gets it.
I never knew that until I started listening to these lyrics, and I was like, oh my gosh, this song is totally about a baby.
Also, one of the other lyrics that's not, I don't think it's even in the actual single, is her name is Aisha, because he's literally talking about his daughter. And I was like, why is he singing this? I mean, I get it, but I also don't get it, because I've only known it as a song about a baby. So then I also don't know why I didn't question it when I knew that it was an iTunes, like a Glee cover. So I think I just didn't know it in this context. I was like, I don't know, maybe he's talking about a baby named Aisha. I don't know.
The boys all come in like playing different kitchen instruments because they're in home ec, and Brittany is holding this egg, and she's like, I don't understand the difference between an egg with a chicken in it and an egg with an egg with it in it. You know? And Tina's like, they're the same thing. She's like,
Well, they're actually not.
They're different because one is fertilized.
Yes, one is fertilized and one is not.
And
Tina.
Yeah. And no one's like explaining that to Brittany, and that's just making things worse.
And Brittany's like, I don't get it because an egg is a baby chicken's house. And
she's not wrong.
And Kurt is like, I want to graduate high school with at least knowing how to make a pate.
Okay, Kurt, calm down.
And
okay, did anyone else have home ec classes? I did not.
Not like this. So my home ec was BS. Like, I think we cooked maybe twice, but I don't even remember what the rest of it was. And it didn't happen in high school. It happened in, I think, 8th grade. Yeah, we had it in like middle school, late middle school.
I have never had a home ec class.
Neither have I.
And yet I can still cook.
Yeah.
Yes, Cullen cannot.
Aw, Cullen. That's why he's just stocks up on carrots.
Yes. carrots.
Yeah.
Oh,
Although
what
I
that
feel
wasn't in the
like-
conversation. That was before the recording. Oh no. Or wait,
I
was
eat a
it?
lot of baby carrots, people.
Cullen has 2 bags, 2 humongous bags of carrots.
So wait, if your fridge is kind of broken, are they still sitting there, or have you eaten
Yeah.
them all?
Well, carrots
They can last for a
last
while.
a while outside of the fridge. I mean,
Interesting.
they're known to be
I mean, they grow in the
vegetables
ground.
that, yeah, you just sort of, they last for a long time.
What if you could just put them back in the ground?
Nice and cool.
Anyway,
I
that was some
wonder if
Britney
you-
logic.
Well, I mean, they're roots, right? So maybe.
All right, guys, we really need to get through this storyline.
Well, okay, can I just say first, it has nothing to do with carrots, but I want to talk about Puck spiking the punch.
Okay.
Because when he's describing it to Artie, we go through like this, I don't know, like, it's
like
not
a
a
heist.
flashback.
It's like a heist, like the
Yeah,
plan
yeah,
of
yeah.
the heist happening.
Yes. And he specifically says, and then you spike the punch with gin. And I about lost it. You
Oh.
never ever spike punch with gin. Do you know why? Gin.
Don't put a gem in your punch.
Gin actually has flavor. Vodka does not. Put vodka in the punch.
Okay.
Actually, don't do that. Don't do
Don't
that.
spike your punch.
Don't spike the punch. But I'm just saying that no one in their right mind would ever use gin to spike punch.
And that's why it's Puck, because Puck is 1, stupid, and 2, he's a teenager, and 3, he's Puck.
Okay.
I also thought gin was a weird choice. I was like, I don't think I've ever had gin in punch before.
It's not a choice.
It's not on the menu.
Yeah.
So then they're at prom, and Sam and Artie and Puck all cover Rebecca Black's Friday.
Oh my
Literally,
god.
I died. I literally
I
was like,
also
this
did.
is why she even got to like I think this healed her. Like, she probably had a lot of shit that she had to go through with this song, and Glee was like, we're gonna cover it, and gave her a bunch of money, and she was like, this is so much better. Like, people are respecting my music. Like, good for Rebecca Black.
Really? I don't think this was. Do you think this was respecting?
No. I don't genuinely think it was respecting, but she got hella money from it.
Oh yeah.
She went
So,
through a lot, but she
yeah.
did get to meet Katy Perry and be in her TGIF music video.
Okay, I mean,
I
legitimately forgot how bad this song was.
this
until
was
I
worse
listened
than the
to it.
original. I will say it. Like, this was worse than the original.
It was. I mean, it's just not a good song.
And also, parts of it, when Sam were singing, it didn't sound like him, but his mouth was moving, and I was like, I don't think that's actually you singing. Like, it was
well, it
really
probably
weird.
it could have been him singing, and then they did. Like,
Oh, it could have been some
they-
really shitty autotune.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, that makes sense then.
And then they put it back over the top.
Have you ever heard Rebecca Black's Saturday, which we will be covering in the Gleeboot?
Wait, she did
No, I
another one?
haven't. Oh my god.
She did a song called Saturday. It's like a generic pop song. It's kind of just making fun of Friday.
Okay.
Because she's like explaining the days of the week,
I'm
and
just-
they have people on a whiteboard like, duh, what?
I'm just so upset that this opened their prom, like, or at least from what we saw.
A prom that they
yes.
described as being on a Saturday.
Was it actually on a Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
my
my
god!
goodness.
I thought like, oh, okay, I get where they're playing Friday because it's a Friday. Like, some schools do that. I don't think we did that, but some schools do. I'm sure. No, we did. We had it on a Friday because I remember people were, girls, I think specifically took advantage of this, and that was probably inherently only for us. But some girls actually went home halfway through the school day so they could start getting ready. I do remember that. Unless that was homecoming, but I'm pretty sure it was probably prom instead.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that didn't make any sense then. That makes way less sense.
Yeah.
I actually think we had half day on Friday of prom.
Like everyone did.
I think so, yeah.
That's nice. I think it was like, you can, but you probably shouldn't, kind of thing. I don't know. I don't remember.
We so excited.
Are we?
Oh, Friday. What a time capsule of a song. Yeah. And then, so then after the song, like when there's no music, Huck starts dancing around Sue and is like, "Do you want to dance?" And she's like, "There's no music." She turns around and she sees Artie pouring something into the bowl. So then she's interrogating him, and she has like dental equipment out, and she's like, "I'm going to give you a routine cleaning," which, because otherwise I get arrested. And she's like, "Which anyone knows is an experience of intense oral pain." And Artie's like, "What dentist do you go to?" And
She
she's
goes,
like,
Sue Sylvester, DDS.
Okay, doesn't Artie specifically ask her, "Are you going to pull out my teeth?" And she says, "No, because I would get arrested."
"Yeah."
And then eventually we see her with a puller thing in his mouth.
Yes, and then later on in the conversation, she's like, "I was about to pull out your molars," and I was like, "You literally just told us that you weren't going to do that because you were going to get arrested."
She also says, she calls him like a bad POW, and then she says John McCain was rolling over in his grave. I was like, oh my god, like that predates him even dying. Like that's so spooky.
That's what Cullen said too.
I was like, he wasn't dead when she said that.
I was like, I was spooked out by that for sure.
Yeah. Jokes that did not age well.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I just want to go and have one dance with Brittany," and she's like, "You just told me the one thing you want." And she tries to interrogate him and get him to admit it, and then he admits that he poured lemonade in the punch because he wanted to seem
And he
cool.
never outs who was in on the plan, because she's like, "Tell me it was Puck. It was Puck," and he's like, "I'm not telling you." Like he really, he was tight-lipped about it for some reason.
He wanted to protect Puck.
Why?
Wow. So
They are two peas in a pod.
So the entire episode, like whenever they're like up on the stage or like taking pictures, Puck keeps making this face that looks like he's taking a shit.
He always looks like that. I'm pretty sure. I don't like when he smiles. His
It's
smile
just this-
looks really fake. He looks like he's farting.
Yeah. But then Artie comes out to the dance after Sue lets him go, and Brittany wakes him over, and they take a picture together.
Didn't
Mark take a picture together.
He didn't understand what spiking meant. Like he spiked it with lemonade only because he thought like that's
Yeah.
what spiking also is just like putting something else in the punch.
Yeah.
Not even just alcohol. Like I feel like even as a 16-year-old, I knew what spiking meant.
I guess.
Yeah.
Is this one
Yeah,
of
I
those
think
things?
so, yeah.
I would say, is this one of those things where I realized like my childhood was a bit troubled? I
No,
knew
I
things
think
I
I
shouldn't have.
knew what spiking was too.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
literally all I can think of right now is volleyball. So
Okay, true. Not the sport. We're talking about mixing some drinks.
Yeah, so that's the end of the episode, is everyone taking pictures to Dancing Queen. So that was Prom Queen.
Yeah,
Yep.
that
I enjoyed it.
I did not.
I also
I think
not.
I enjoyed it more when I was watching it, what little amount that is, but I think deconstructing it made it worse.
I had fun deconstructing it. I like to deconstruct things.
Yeah.
So who is your least favorite character this week?
Mine's Finn, because he was getting all up in Rachel's business for absolutely no reason. And then he got into a fight, which left Quinn by herself, and that was also really shitty.
Mine is also Finn. He's a really terrible, he's an asshole in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like in business he shouldn't be in, and which is Rachel's business. And he's a really bad date.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going with Finn too. Finn he's a bad date. He's all up in Rachel's business. He's using her for like his emotional support, but dating Quinn. It's just not a good look. We don't love it.
Mm-mm.
No. Hannah, who is your favorite character this week?
I guess I'm just gonna stick with my answer. I'm gonna say Kurt because I definitely think there's something really great about the fact that he was like, no, I'm gonna go up there, I'm gonna take this crown, and I'm gonna pretend that none of this bothers me, and I'm just gonna own it. And I think that was really brave, even if he was like really embarrassed and freaked out and upset. Yeah.
I'm going with Brittany because I loved her outfit and because I love that she went to prom by herself and she was like fully committed. Like she turned Artie down twice.
Yeah.
And had a great time going by herself.
And she wasn't like ashamed of doing that. She was like, yep, I'm going by myself and I'm going to have a great time.
Yeah, exactly. And she was also there for Santana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, going with Brittany.
Yeah, I forgot to mention, after Artie thinks, isn't she lovely? She's like, no, you called me stupid, and I really didn't like that, so I'm not going to go to the dance.
Yeah, she stood her ground. She was like, I will not accept that.
I'm like, thank you. Thank you, Brittany. I'm going with Mercedes. I was really happy for her that she got like her dream prom that she wanted, and I ship her and Sam. And I liked her diffuse. I just, as someone who likes to diffuse situations, I related to her a lot when she was like, "You guys all look great. Now leave." Yeah, and she was all excited for prom. That was like relatable. Yeah. So Hannah, what was your least favorite song?
This will not come as a shocker to anyone. It was Friday. Again, I will say it. I think this cover was worse than the original.
What is our list of songs?
I should just list them before
Yes,
I
you
ask.
should. I don't know why you don't.
I always ask and then wait till we get to Alyssa and then list them.
The listeners are probably like, okay, we need a list now. I speak for the listeners and also for my very, very sieve-like brain.
So we have...
What was your favorite song or least favorite song? Huh? Nope.
Did Fiora say Friday?
Nothing to say.
She did. She's like, I have no comment.
There was Rolling in the Deep, Isn't She Lovely, Friday, I'm Not Going to Teach Your Boyfriend How to Dance with You, Jar of Hearts, Dancing Queen.
I'm going to go with I'm Not Going to Teach Your Boyfriend How to Dance with You because I barely remember it. And I also didn't realize that Blaine was going to be singing with them because I completely missed that line.
That was disorienting.
So I'm going with that because I was just like, wait, what?
I think that's another one of those songs where like I like it out of context. Like I like that cover. But I just don't get it in context.
At least with Friday, I had fun making fun of it.
Yeah.
I had no connection to this song at all.
I'm going to go with Friday as my least favorite. It was just kind of like making fun of this girl that got relentlessly bullied on the internet by her shitty song. So, yeah. But she got paid, so good for her.
Yeah.
Well, we hope she got paid. We actually don't know anything about that contract.
True. Yeah, true. It could have gone all to the production company who made the song.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible. Well, now we got to do Rebecca Black research.
Oh, boy.
Next guest on the podcast.
Next week, Rebecca Black. Oh, my God. If only. That'd be cool.
So now, favorite song.
My favorite song was Dancing Queen. Even though, like, it's one of those, again, I don't understand in context. Not sure why that's the Prom Queen song. I guess I just, like, I get Dancing Queen, but I don't understand the choice. The context was really weird, but I love me some San Sadie's. I thought it sounded great.
I'm going to go with Rollin' in the Deep because I had such a fun time watching the acting and singing going on, and it was so dramatic. And it was Jesse St. James, and I was not prepared for his arrival. It took me by surprise, and I was there for the ride.
For a second, I thought I saw Spit, and it had Hamilton flashbacks. I'm going with I'm Not Going to Teach Your Boyfriend How to Dance With You. I liked the visuals of Isn't She Lovely with all the boys like with the kitchen utensils, but I just liked the cover of I'm Not Going to Teach Your Boyfriend How to Dance With You. This Glee introduced me to the song, and I liked the cover a lot. It's really fun.
So quickly going back to the home ec scene, that teacher, I'm surprised she didn't just throw them out. Like,
oh yeah,
and
She didn't throw a shoe at them.
yeah, really. Like, it would have been funny if she like grabbed like a pan and was like, "I will beat you with this."
well, at one point Sam like was hugging her.
Yeah,
And
it
I
was
was like,
weird.
Bad touch, bad touch.
Stop.
Oh, Glee, crossing boundaries always in ways that we're like, "Ugh." So that was Prom Queen. Do you want to plug our SoMe's?
Yes, we are on Instagram and Twitter at GleebootPod, and then we're also on Tumblr, gleebootpod.tumblr.com.
You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at yourboyryan99 and follow my YouTube channel at YABOI Ryan.
You can follow me at a.m.swearingen. That's SWEARINGEN.
Yeah.
That's it. I literally haven't put anything on Instagram in ages, so
Same.
have a good time looking at my life that is not up to date.
We hope you had a good time. Tune in next week for the episode called Funeral.
What? Oh, God.
And we're almost done with season 2, and it's been a wild ride.
Boy, has it.
Yeah.
It's been a long, wild ride. All right. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
Gleeboot.